1, 2, 3, 4. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on.
Well, here we are.
Yes, we are here. It's the place to be. Because remember, Rat, wherever you are, it's the place to be.
Wow, thanks,
Yeah.
Damone.
Yes.
Do you got those Earth, Wind, and Fire tickets I wanted?
Oh, it was Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
Yeah, I got your tickets.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Good.
I waited in line for 3 weeks for the Earth, Wind, and
Yeah.
Fire tickets.
Little Fast Times at Ridgemont High reference to
Sure.
start us off. Why not?
That's my skull. All right. Yeah, it's Wednesday. We'll have the answer to Tuesday night trivia coming up in just a few minutes. But first, a look at Gig-O News brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers. What's making headlines on this Wednesday morning?
All right, thank you. Here's what's going on. Despite being labeled as a budget meeting, the public comments of Fowlerville Community Schools board meeting on Tuesday dealt primarily with two non-financial issues, dress codes and performing arts department. The debate over dress code policy arose after an announcement was made at Fowlerville Junior High reminding students there was in fact a dress code in place and informing them it would be enforced. A group of middle school students brought the issue to the forefront, citing the rigidity and bias, as they see it, of the current dress code. One seventh grader said while the majority of rules were ultimately fair, some were targeted based on gender. Boys, she pointed out, did not come under scrutiny due to the length of their shorts like girls did. Students and parents alike were quick to say the issue was not necessarily the code itself, but the manner in which it was executed. One mother reported children were paraded through the school as teachers gathered groups of students to be taken to the library where staff physically measured the length of skirts and shorts with rulers. Another parent was quick to note that the lengthy and rigorous inspections were more distracting than the dress code itself. The theme of overreaching led to another topic of debate last night, school plays and musicals. Controversy arose in the district in response to Fowlerville High School's spring production of She Kills Monsters, a play that features themes of grief, coping, and self-discovery, although some community members were reportedly upset by the fact the play also features a lesbian protagonist. Elaine Clapp, a Fowlerville parent, said there had been misinformation about what the play did or did not feature, and that students and staff who took part in the production had been subjected to targeted slander and demoralizing actions, including from individuals who she said held leadership roles, although she did not name anyone specifically. The board, however, unanimously voted to implement an approval process in which all plays and musicals have to be presented to the curriculum committee for screening prior to licensing or purchasing scripts, as compared to simply being approved by the school's principal. One of the candidates seeking a nomination to represent a portion of Livingston County has been dropped from the August primary ballot. The Michigan Department of State Tuesday issued letters to 15 candidates they said will be disqualified from the August 2nd primary election ballot because of defects on their affidavit of identity. Included on that list is Chase Turner of Northville. Turner had been seeking the GOP nomination for the 49th State House District that includes Green Oak and Brighton Townships, as well as the city of Brighton and Livingston County, along with a slice of western Oakland County. The Secretary of State says Turner was disqualified because of false statements regarding his compliance with the Michigan Campaign Finance Act, although no details were provided. The only other Republican in that race is current 42nd District State Representative Ann Bolin of Brighton Township. As it stands now, Bolin and Brighton Township photographer Christina Kafkakis will face off for that seat in November. Kafkakis is the lone Democrat running for that spot. A collaborative community meal program, meanwhile, in Livingston County is returning again this summer. The Salvation Army of Livingston County Summer Lunch Bunch meal program returns next month as schools around Livingston County let out for the summer, leaving many students who receive free and reduced meals during the school year to struggle. Kids who participate in the Summer Lunch Bunch not only get a nutritious meal, but they can participate in activities and events set up in each location. At the end, they'll get sent home with a box of pantry food with enough food to provide them lunches and possibly even some dinners for the rest of the week. Nicole Moore, Development Director for the Salvation Army of Livingston County, said this year the Summer Lunch Bunch will be meeting in a congregate setting and meals have to be eaten on site. Registration is not required for the overall program, although it will be needed for specific educational and entertainment events that are happening during Summer Lunch Bunch. And you can find more details at mikeandjohnpodcast.com. And that's what's happening.
And news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Brighton's preeminent jewelry store with a commitment to not only customer service, but community involvement, honesty, professionalism, and of course, exquisite merchandise. And right now, they've got their estate buying specialists on hand. It's like Cooper and Binkley's own antique roadshow.
There you go.
Stuff you can buy or sell at if you've got old jewelry, things like that. And it's not just jewelry. Some of the things that you can take in and get appraised, stuff from Tiffany, Cartier, DY, any age, any style. They'll check that out. Broken or damaged, coins too. Get out your coin. I wonder if they'll give you anything for the thin tin. Greenfield Village money? No. Probably not.
Flip me a quarter, go,
bullion
hit the
bars.
road.
You got any gold bars or silver coins sitting around?
Nothing going to tell you about.
Bullion bars, not bullion cubes. Old paper money, as we said, coin collections, all diamonds, loose or mounted. You can take those into Cooper and Binkley Jewelers and get them appraised. And who knows, they may buy them back from you, or you could have it reset in something new. Find out more at cooperandbinkleyjewelers.com. Downtown Brighton.
Yes.
Main Street.
Yes.
So you were talking in news about school dress codes. Do you remember dress codes in school?
You know, I don't. No. I really don't know that was an issue.
The
I
only
went to school so long ago.
Every now and then, like when I went to Catholic Central, there was dress code. I had to have a collared shirt and no dungarees.
Okay.
That's what they called it.
No dungarees.
That's what the disciplinarian. We had a disciplinarian. He was very strict about dungarees.
No dungarees.
So anything that would come close to denim, we would have none of that. So yeah, I don't remember.
The devil's in the denim.
Well, yeah. But I remember kids, and probably myself included, like wearing a Budweiser shirt to high school.
Oh God, yeah. That's what I mean. There didn't seem to be any standards.
It didn't think that it was an issue.
Yeah.
You know, maybe today it would. I don't know. I'm sure it would probably.
I would say it makes sense to me, or I think logic dictates. I think a lot of these dress codes are unfairly biased against women and girls.
Well, sometimes
they seem to be more about
a distraction.
Enforcing. Well, that's the thing, though. Girls have to cover up because they're a distraction to boys. But I'm like, okay, so for instance, like the length of a shirt, a skirt or shorts, that only seems to be applied to women, not to boys.
Well, were you wearing short shorts in the school?
I went to school in the 70s and 80s, so
those were the style.
I certainly wasn't. I think my own peers would have go home. Dear God, cover up.
Well, you had your socks up to your knees, and your shorts just barely below your stuff.
So it's interesting. Different eras had different whatevers, but it does seem to me. I mean, that report, which was by the way brought to us by our intern Leah Craig, who went to last night's meeting. I mean, I think the point though that the parents are making, which is the enforcement of the code itself, is more of a distraction than any of these violations might have been. When you're parading kids and they have to come to the media center and you've got people that are measuring things, I'm like, what is this, Footloose? I mean, what is going on around here? Dear God.
Well, then you got to question who the person is with the measuring tape.
Right.
Because do you trust that person?
Ooh, let me do it. Back down, all right?
Well, we might have some free time.
Yeah,
we can't.
Easy.
No, we can't.
All right.
Our parents would not approve of that. All right, it's time for, since we're talking schools, our teacher of the day today.
That's
for
right.
Community Spotlight.
Brought to you by Jordan Genso with the Genso team at Remax Platinum as a community-focused real estate agent. Jordan, once again, spending the month of May doing what he has dubbed Main Street May. Each day he's using his Facebook page to highlight a different business on Main Street in Brighton, encouraging everyone to take a moment to support the businesses that build our community. People who interact with his posts have a chance to win a $10 gift card to that business, and you can find it on Facebook, Jordan Genso, Community Servant, Community Realtor, and that's your chance to win a gift card. All right. Who are we talking to? Well, hopefully.
I don't know. I'm just dialing
today.
a number, hoping somebody answers. Right. No, it's Kaitlynn Krull.
All right. Kaitlynn
who's
Krull.
a teacher at
and we did,
Northwest Elementary.
We pre-dialed yesterday to make sure everything's going to be.
Go ahead and explain that. We'll see if she answers today after we talked to her yesterday.
Things work out.
Hello?
Good morning, Kaitlynn. It's Mike and John, and Mike and John got it going on. We are excited to talk to you today. John is so excited he's almost flying out of his chair.
It's amazing. Good morning.
How's things at Northwest Elementary?
How are you?
Good. So you are the lower LRR teacher. What's that?
I am. I'm the resource room teacher. That's like a special ed teacher.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
help out a variety of kids with different disabilities, and I kind of support them within the classroom, and I pull them out and help them with different skills. In the lower L, I deal with mostly kids with different behavior, social, emotional things.
So if you're talking like things like autism and things of that nature? Yeah.
Yep, so we're kind of seeing nowadays there's a higher number of children that are coming to us with that autism eligibility, but I do have other students that have, eligibilities like speech and language or emotional impairment, so I kind of work with a variety of students.
So that's a challenging job when you've got different students with different needs, and you've kind of got to fill where needed for each of those individual students.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think that's part of my love for the job, that each child kind of comes with, which, I mean, you kind of get that in the gen ed classroom as well. They kind of come with their own set of needs, but they also come with their own set of strengths too, and it kind of makes every day interesting and challenging, and no 2 days are the same.
So you're not in it for the you're not in it for the big paycheck, then, is what I'm getting.
No.
I didn't think so.
You do have to have a love for this job, a real passion for it.
I mean,
Absolutely.
even more so than just a general education teacher. What made you take this avenue?
So my mom is also a special education teacher. She is a middle school teacher, a resource room teacher as well. And so I kind of, starting at a very young age, went to like the Take Your Daughter to Work Day, and kind of got I always knew I wanted to be a teacher starting very young, like elementary school. I had a intern from Michigan State that she was absolutely phenomenal, and I was like, I want to be a teacher and I want to go to Michigan State because she was so good. And I would play teacher and that kind of thing. Then when I went to school with my mom, knew I wanted to be special ed, and then I volunteered at a center called Friendship Circle in West Bloomfield one summer, and that's a one-on-one program that kind of works with special needs kids. It's a super cool center. If you haven't gotten a chance to kind of check it out, they offer a variety of programs for students with special needs to kind of social skills. They have a little town downstairs that kind of mimics what a real town would look like to teach those skills. And I volunteered the majority of my summer there, and I was like, this is absolutely what I want to do. And there was one little girl in particular that I was with the majority of the summer, and her and I still kind of keep in touch, and she has cerebral palsy, and I don't work necessarily with students that have cerebral palsy, but she was just such a joy, and she kind of absolutely took me down the kind of special ed path, and she talked a lot to me about, obviously you can tell from the outside her disability, but a lot of times you can't always see that from the outside.
Right.
And I think that's a big reason and a big push kind of what I do in my position, and a big push of kind of my role of doing Autism Acceptance Week. I wanted to kind of show kids, our whole school, that, differences you can't always see on the outside, and so you might see somebody doing something, and it might be because their brain might work a little differently than ours, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be accepted. It's that, we need to be including and accepting everybody, just because they might do things a little differently. It's not that they should be excluded.
Well, is that what kind of drove you to this the mentoring program that you put together, Stronger Together?
Yeah, so that one works a little bit differently than the autism acceptance. The Stronger Together focuses on a little bit of academics and a little bit of, it really was whatever kind of the teachers needed. This year I did decide to, it's called PBIS position was open, and it kind of looks at like our whole school's positive behavior like supports that our school provides for all students, not just special ed students. And there was one student that I work with specifically that we kind of paired with a older child who was displaying some things in class that, you know, he was really strong academically, but so he would get his work done quickly, but then would kind of have some behaviors because you know, for unknown reasons, but so we were kind of trying to fill that time to give him like a leadership role. So we paired him with one of my students that was lower academically to do some like flashcards academically, and it was a really cool experience. And I never once saw any of those behavior concerns that the teacher was kind of talking about, and he like absolutely shined, kind of being in that leadership role of like he really took it to heart of like, you know, I'm the leader. I overheard him talking to the little student that I work with, and was saying, you know, I had a buddy when I was your age and he helped me with my letters, and you know, now I do really well with that. So kind of seeing how successful that was for both of them.
Well, right in the classroom that he was in, too.
Yeah.
Well, it's giving them an opportunity to sort of step outside the boundaries that have sort of been imposed on them.
Yes. And I think we offer a lot of things for, you know, there's a lot of people kind of keeping an eye on the special ed students and providing those supports. There's a lot of people that, you know, we want to make sure that those kids who are, you know, really strong academically have reasons to push them, but sometimes those kids that kind of fall in the middle don't always get those opportunities. So it was another way to kind of help make sure that everybody kind of had an opportunity. So I put it out to the entire staff, you know, to make sure that nobody was falling through the cracks of getting an opportunity to kind of if they needed a leadership opportunity, if it was a student that needed some more academic support, you know, getting some more repetitions in an academic area, if they needed support. We had some younger students that were still struggling with, you know, that locker routine. They would end up, you know, unpacking their backpack took 20 minutes and, you know, getting distracted many times. And so teachers were having to go out and check quite often on, you know, are you still, you know, keep going, many reminders. So kind of just pairing up those students to help with that. And unfortunately, this didn't come till the end of the year, so I would love to start it at the beginning of the year next year to kind of get it off and running right off the bat, because a lot of them, we actually had some first graders paired up with kindergartners, and I was a little nervous with it being younger kids, but some of the kids really stepped up, and I actually heard a really cute story of a first grader that went into a kindergarten classroom and was like, I am here to help you be a successful first grader. So he really, he had some bigger behaviors in class, but he really took it to heart. And
that's
was
awesome.
ready to go, so.
It's kind of a little mirror image of yourself as a young child as a teacher, kind of taking the lead. I would imagine, you know, you like you said, you played teacher, and you're giving these kids a chance to do that as well, to help out a fellow student.
And everybody benefits from that. I mean, that's really awesome. Well, Kaitlynn, you know, you have been selected by your HAA colleagues as the teacher of the day, and it sounds like well-deserved.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you taking time out. Keep up the great work there at Northwest Elementary School. We appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Yeah, Kaitlynn Krull, our teacher of the week.
Absolutely.
Teacher of the week.
Teacher of the day.
Well, we'll make her the teacher of the week if we want.
Well,
because we can do that.
Well, we can. We can do whatever
I'm
we
taking
want.
over. I'm mentoring John on how to make it teacher of the week.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Well, that's the first one we talked to, isn't it?
Who's the actual teacher here?
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
did graduate with my master's degree.
I'm sorry, I was way out of line there.
How did this get here?
I don't know, but
It's not staying.
we'll have how to put your hat on class after the show.
Stop by Kaitlyn's. See if you can help me. All right, our community spotlight, of course, brought to you by Jordan Genso with the Genso team at Remax Platinum. Find him on Facebook, Jordan Genso, community servant, community realtor. All right.
Sir.
Earlier today, before we got started, we used the new Gigo printer here.
Yeah, we did.
Gigo Studios once again.
The one thing, and this was recommended to us by Dan's PC Solutions, and we appreciate the recommendation, but I kind of have a little beef.
Of course you do. What
Well,
now?
John was saying, look, you can hear it printing.
Yeah.
You could have got a quieter one. And I said, well, I want it to jingle like my
Like your
wash
washer?
machine.
Yeah.
The printing is done.
Yes.
Da, da, da,
Oh my
da.
God.
No.
Yeah. Like a dishwasher. Some dishwashers
Yeah,
have
a
that as
dishwasher
well.
has that little tune
Shut
too.
up.
It's supposed to make doing the chores a little more joyful.
It makes it more
So maybe
irritating.
Like printing, it could be a little more joyful.
No, our printer just goes.
But see, that way you know it's working.
Right.
Like if you're out of the room, okay, my stuff's printing.
It's not a silent printer.
No, but
it
that's
gets
all right.
the job done.
That's right. John's
kind of
not
how
a silent
That's
partner,
right. I was gonna say it's
but
kind
he
of
gets the job.
That's kind of how they
sort of
describe me.
done.
He's very loud and he gets the job done. But God, is he loud?
Yes, he is.
But either way, of course, Dan's PC Solutions, one of the supporters here of Mike and John, got it going on. And veteran-owned computer repair shop in Howell, run by Dan and Amber McMillan, a husband-wife team providing IT and computer services and support for residents in Livingston County for more than 10 years. You get personal, friendly service. I can attest to that. Many times I've stopped by there. And Dan and Amber, always very friendly. Yes. And of course, don't forget Ziggy.
Pet the Shih Tzu.
If you want, you don't have to. But Ziggy, very friendly little Shih Tzu, he will come up and he'll be sniffing you. And just be prepared. And very cute little dog, but of course, very friendly environment at Dan's PC Solutions. They're located in the old airport building, the old county airport building on Grand River in Howell. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 3, 517-579-0975. That's danspcsolutions.com. They have IT support for small businesses. They have support for your average home user looking for a new PC and you're not quite sure to get recommendations like we got with our printer. Dan's PC Solutions, that's the place to go. danspcsolutions.com.
Thank you to Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, trivia question.
Oh, now you wanted me to get to the trivia
Get
question.
to the trivia.
The
Oh my
question
God, we've
read,
been waiting.
From Tuesday Night Trivia, TNT, according to a recent survey of adults,
Yes.
most of us have had at least one of these, although 22% of American adults have not.
What have we not had?
Well, there were some great guesses.
Okay.
A new car, a car accident, a speeding ticket, surgery, alcoholic beverages. No, we're Americans. We drink.
I have had all of these so far.
Brain freeze, a sibling.
Here's the thing about brain freeze. I'm just gonna hold you there for a second.
Okay. Here we
Brain
go.
freeze. brain freeze. When you get it, you're like, oh my God, I hate this.
Put your tongue up again.
But when the relief hits, you're like, oh yeah,
I want to do that again.
they could put that in a gummy. Oh, they do. Anyway,
Voter's registration card was a good guess. Broke a bone. Have you ever broken a bone?
yes,
I've only broke my nose.
I broke my big toe.
Broken heart.
Me and Sergeant Hulka.
A secret crush. Car crash. Dental cavity. Have you brushed your teeth today? Please do. Therefore, you won't get a dental cavity.
Yes,
A cavity is right. That's the answer.
it is.
A dental cavity.
Really,
Got a lot of those.
it happens.
Yeah, it does. Too many sweets as a kid. So congratulations to those that got it right. We'll have another question coming up tonight or later this afternoon. Our WNT Wednesday night trivia coming up.
All right.
On
WNT.
Yeah, that's WNT.
Now, what happens between? Is you like TNT is a Tuesday night? What about Thursday night? Is it
That's still
TNT?
no,
THNT?
No, that's still TNT. It's just
Thunt?
Thursday. No, we can't have
Thunt?
a thunt. We do that on a daily basis. So no, we won't have a thunt. We'll have a Thursday.
No, there'll
TNT.
be
It's
there'll
still
be
a
no
TNT.
there'll be no thunts
And
on this show.
sometimes I want to put an FNT.
Yeah.
But an FNT on a Friday night, I wouldn't have the answer until Monday. So therefore, we just do it Sunday night and have an SNT.
What about
An FNT.
what about SYT? Anyway,
An SYT. Wow.
not gonna go there because it just did.
Show us your thumb.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Show us your thumb.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just lost the female audience.
We've lost females all the time.
Yeah, well.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. All right.
We have to put a disclaimer before we make this call.
Indeed, we do. We're going to be talking with Todd Heywood. He's an investigative reporter, freelance journalist. He has an article coming out, I believe, in the Lansing City Pulse today that is about a murder case that goes back to 2018 in Eaton County. It is grisly, so we just want to give you a warning, fair warning right now. We're going to be talking about some fairly graphic content here.
Not too deep. I really don't.
So still, yeah.
Good morning, Todd. It's Mike and John at Mike and John Got It Going On podcast. How are you?
Well, hi, Mike and John. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. We were just kind of giving a prelude as to what to expect during this conversation, so we don't want to get too grisly on the story.
But it's a grisly story.
It
I mean, there's no way to get around the fact that this story is. And just so, Todd, I said, you're a freelance journalist, investigative reporter. This article it's coming out today. Is it in the Lansing City Pulse?
Today in the City Pulse.
Yeah. Okay. So folks can look for it there. Now this goes back. It goes back quite a while, but the story starts in 2018. December 9th, call comes into the Eaton County 911 dispatch. Man's found wandering in the middle of Grand Ledge Highway and covered in blood. His name is Adam Sadlak. He's 29 years old.
That's an error that we corrected in the final version. It's Joseph Sadlak.
Oh, my bad.
That's his middle name. So.
All right. So Joseph Adam Sadlak.
So what led you to dig into this story?
Yeah. How did you get a hold of this story, and then and kind of give us the overall themes that came out as you looked into it?
So right after it happened, I was at the time working for the state of Michigan, and began hearing rumors in the gay community that this murder may have been an anti-gay murder, at least that the victim was gay, and that there were lots of questions about what led up to this. And so I talked to Burl during one of our news meetings and said, I really want to look into this because all these rumors persist years later. And so we started sending out FOIAs, and what we got was, as you've seen, quite eye-opening. It's an extreme murder in terms of its violence.
Right.
We've already talked about that. But there's also 5 years worth of police reports that are increasingly violent and extreme, where young men were running from his house covered in blood and beating on the neighbors' windows, screaming for help because they were going to be killed by Clinton Decker, who was the murder victim.
Right, and that's the initial murder victim that was found there. Clinton Decker, and as you lay out in the story, he was half in bed in a pool of blood. The officers had to shoot a pit bull 3 times in order to gain access. And as you put it, and I'm gonna read this, and I think it kind of says a lot. Is just the murder was the culmination of at least 5 years of increasingly terrifying claims by young, mostly homeless and mostly drug-using men. At least 2 fled the home in terror, pounded on windows of nearby residences, pleading for police, and then hid. Law enforcement would find them covered in blood. So again, very disturbing details that come out over these 5 years, and what becomes clear. And people can obviously get the full details reading the article today in the Lansing City Pulse, but what becomes clear is that there were warning signs upon warning signs upon warning signs that things were not right in this house.
Right, absolutely. And, some of the folks that I've spoken to over the last couple of weeks have said that this echoes Jeffrey Dahmer, because, Jeffrey Dahmer had multiple instances where young men fled his apartment and were then handed back over to Jeffrey Dahmer, where they were ultimately then murdered in Eaton. Obviously, this doesn't go that extreme in Eaton County, but here we have a systemic exploitation of homeless men who were brought into the house under the guise that they were going to be given housing, and instead they were hooked on methamphetamine, and this is all a meth-driven situation. And that's also part of the story here, I think, that is really important for us to look at, is that we are seeing increasing methamphetamine use across the state of Michigan, and abusive methamphetamine use can lead to psychosis and delusions. And as I point out in the story, when Mr. Sadlak made his confessions to law enforcement, they were clearly full of delusional, psychotic thinking.
And how did they? I mean, I guess once once he was arrested and interviewed, the process of trying to get this story out of him was a bit arduous, I guess.
Well, yeah, especially with the delusional factor. I mean, that just had to be a lot for the authorities to deal with.
So the detective actually said that, the first time they went in, he asked for a little bit more time. They accused him of playing games because he was laying down. I suspect he was probably exhausted. I mean, again, the violence of the crime itself would have exhausted anybody. But when the detective came back in, Mr. Sadlak became a chatterbox and talked for 2 hours straight.
Wow.
Which is also, pretty common for meth use. Once you get going, you don't stop talking.
Right, and as you pointed to earlier, I mean, I guess the fact that as the story unfolds, we get this, story that these men were brought in under the guise of housing. They were, would you say, intentionally hooked on meth?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Because I guess it's easy, as a society, we have such stereotypes of, well, if you're homeless, you're already a drug user, and we kind of classify people and sort of shove them to the margins. And yet, in this case, in these stories, I mean, these are people that are just sort of,
maybe they had issues beforehand, but this just added on to it.
Right. They're having a moment in their life, a crisis in their life, and then this individual took advantage of it in perverse and just disturbing ways.
Well, I will tell you that the folks that I spoke to, including Kevin Herman Starnes, who was actually raped at gunpoint by Mr. Decker, according to his statements to me, he explicitly said that Mr. Decker and other drug dealers in this community are deliberately preying on young men who are homeless and getting them hooked on methamphetamine as part of what may be a sex trafficking process.
Right. There's a lot of threads that go through this story.
It's some scary stuff.
Yeah, it really is. So Sadlak himself, his defense team, they have wanted to plead him out as insane.
Right.
But the court ruled that he was competent to assist in his own defense. But there's a hearing tomorrow, correct?
So let's suss that out a little bit, because it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Okay.
So they wanted to use the defense of not guilty by reason of insanity.
Right.
Ironically, in the state of Michigan, even if you're found incompetent to assist in your defense, which is what competency stuff is about, that's not enough for you to be considered insane. You literally have to go in front of a judge and jury and make the case while the prosecutor is saying, no, you killed this person. So essentially, it's nearly impossible to prove not guilty by reason of insanity. And so a lot of times people who are mentally ill, who commit crimes like this, go to prison instead of getting the mental health help that they clearly need. So what's happening now is because Michigan has settled case law that if you had drugs in your system, regardless of what those drugs were, you can't claim insanity. So despite the fact that we know that methamphetamine can trigger and cause and exacerbate underlying mental health problems, because Sadlak may have had methamphetamine, that hasn't been confirmed on the record, but that's my presumption, they can't use that defense. However, since he's been in the county jail since probably September of 2020, when he was deemed competent to assist in his defense, he has devolved in terms of his mental health to the point that his defense sincerely believes that he is incapable of assisting in his own defense. So tomorrow morning, they're actually asking a judge to send him back for a competency evaluation. to the state psychiatric facility, the prosecutor is going to argue that, we got incompetent by giving him all these drugs, so let's just force feed him all these drugs in the jail.
And his trial is preliminarily at this point set for August, correct?
August 1st, that's correct.
And so, like I said, a lot of themes run through this story, and you just touched upon a big one, and that's about, mentally ill issues, mental illness issues in the prison population, in as it relates to incarceration. Just a huge issue that is that's an article in and of itself.
Right. And it's also there's some real historical context to that as too. Remember when John Engler got into office, he shuttered all of the state-funded state psychiatric units. And so a lot of the mental health concerns and people with mental health issues who would normally have had access to care were sort of booted out onto the streets, and we have now been dealing with them by criminalizing them and putting them in prisons or county jails and shouldering that medical care through the incarceration process instead of through a medical process.
And
so that's a whole other layer.
That's a whole other.
But this is an instance where we potentially are seeing some of the effects of that.
Absolutely.
Where that goes in. So again, the article "Horrors in the Red Barn House" is going to be in the Lansing City Pulse today. And folks can go online and check that out. It should be later this morning, you think, be posted?
So it will be online tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
But it's out on newsstands
got it.
today throughout the greater Lansing community.
Remember newsstands? We still print stuff.
Actually had dead tree paper.
Yes.
And ink too?
Yeah.
Probably got a loud printer.
And here's another sort of weird little piece that I like to throw out to just sort of add a little bit of surrealism to what is already a surreal story. The gentleman who performed the autopsy, the pathologist that did that, is actually the author of a novel about a friendship between a gravedigger and a vampire.
Oh, wow. Well,
that's an interesting another twist. Wow.
Do you think? Actually, that is. Do you think that's going to come up in any legal context?
I don't know if it'll come up in any legal context, but I certainly found it interesting enough. That
for sure.
I made sure it was put in as part of the cut line under his photo in the paper because it's just so surreal.
It is.
I mean, and that fits. I mean, I've been living this story for 4 months.
Right.
So, and I have gone down a rabbit hole that I did not expect to go down.
How do you not?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. This could be one of those true crime stories, or as far as being a series, or
a book or something.
Yeah,
more,
those kind of things. It's just so.
And
it's like it could be a Hollywood script, but it's not, and that's the weird part of this whole thing.
Right. I was telling people as I was writing this that if I submitted this news story as a treatment for a movie project,
or even a SVU,
episode, right?
They would say this is absolutely unrealistic. This could never happen.
Right, and yet.
And yet, here we are.
And I think it's interesting. Like you said, you've lived this for 4 months. On a story like this. I know how it is. You go into a story, you think you have a picture of what the story is, and as you begin to peel back the layers, you're like, oh.
Todd, how does this affect you mentally? Yeah. I mean, knowing that this stuff has actually been going on.
Look, I'm pretty proud to be well connected with the LGBTQ community, and having been an activist and an elected official as an openly queer person. I was, surprised at the depth of the needle sharing and methamphetamine use that is happening in particularly the white gay community right now. If you go out on the coasts, it's now begun to become a big issue in the African American men who have sex with men communities as well. So we'll probably see that crisis come to Michigan in about 5 years.
Wow. So,
but that was a big thing. But I think probably the hardest part for me on this whole thing was struggling with the issue of, we have a victim who is clearly not a sympathetic human being.
Right.
And, when I talked to meth users in the community that I knew who knew this guy, they actually would refuse to talk about him.
Right.
They would simply say he deserved to die. He was evil.
Talking about
I don't
Clinton.
wanna talk about
Talking about Clinton Decker,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
specific.
Clinton
Yeah.
Decker. And the more I dug, the more I found why people felt that way.
Right.
And the off-the-record conversations that I've had with people are just as harrowing and just as frightening. And, I've got some more stuff coming as well.
Wow.
But I say all of that to preface the answer to your question about how does this affect me personally. It is pretty rare that gory, heavy-duty stories like this cause nightmares for me.
Mm.
This one has led to lots of nightmares.
Oh, I bet.
It reads, Todd, it reads like a nightmare.
It reads like you might need some therapy after this whole thing.
I mean,
if
it
not
is-
during. I mean,
Yeah,
geez.
well, I will tell you, I am blessed to have a dear friend who is a blogger named Mark S. King. He runs the blog My Fabulous Disease. He's living with HIV and he's in meth recovery. And 2 weeks before I started really writing this thing, I was sort of organizing all my paperwork in preparation for an interview with Mr. Herman Starnes. And I was like, I just can't believe all of this is real. It just doesn't make sense. So I called Mark on the phone, and God bless him, he talked me off the edge and said, "No, you got this. You're right. This is absolutely a day in the life of
Wow.
meth addiction."
That is amazing.
Those of us who have lived it are going to read this and say, "Oh yeah, I remember those days."
Wow. Well, hopefully it serves as a broader tale for the public to get a glimpse, I guess.
With some awareness.
Yeah, into some of these issues. And as you mentioned, it looks like there's going to be, obviously, with this hearing tomorrow and a potential trial in August, we'll be reading more about this case in the days to come. But the article itself, Horrors in the Red Barn House, out today in the print edition of Lansing City Pulse and then online on Thursday. Todd Heywood, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about this.
Hey, thank you so much for helping me spread the word about this, because I think it's a multi-layered, important set of questions and concerns. That
absolutely.
You just have to be ready for what you're about to read.
Yeah,
I think it's bottom line. I mean, it's some pretty heavy stuff. Todd, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a great day.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Wow,
Okay.
that's
Well, where do we go from here?
Where are
Where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is,
Take
and
the time to thank for your blessings that you have.
and so I really highly suggest if you don't pick up a copy of the Lansing City Pulse today, Wednesday, look for the article online tomorrow. It's worth the read. It's disturbing, to say the least. Obviously, we just touched on a little bit of it, believe it or not. But as a point of making people aware of these issues and how they pertain, because Eaton County, you think of Eaton County and it's a nice pastoral rural setting and everything's wonderful here, and you're like, well,
great fields,
and methamphetamine, man. I mean, it is.
Well, didn't that kind of start in the UP? The meth labs started with guys getting Sudafed and battery acid. And stuff like
that's
that.
that'd be another deep
was a
dive to
diet.
kind of go into the whole history of that. But it's a real. Just insidious epidemic, I guess, and this kind of helps highlight that. All right, we need a palate cleanser.
Yes, we do. How about your 2-cent history lesson to just shift gears and get you into a better frame of mind?
Yes, all right. What wacky things happened on this date?
I don't know. We're going to find out. May 18th, today is International Museum Day. Do you have a favorite museum?
Well,
You got Greenfield Village.
you know what? Now that you say that, I was thinking in my
Ford.
mind, like, what one have I been to the most?
Yeah, I mean, it was like
Probably.
field trip time.
I mean, Greenfield Village it's like a living museum, I guess you could say. But the Henry Ford, that's the museum part of it. I've probably been there more often than anywhere else. Because whenever relatives come in from out of town, you're like, well, I guess we go to Greenfield Village.
I agree. How about the zoo?
Yeah, I guess go see Daniel Webster's house and make some taffy or something.
Need some paint.
Make some candles.
National Cheese Souffle Day. Cheese Souffle Day. And no dirty clothes day today. Do the laundry.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
You know that little
Did you
chime?
hear that, kids? Do your laundry!
We're talking about the laundry, the wash machine making that little chime, letting you know it's done. Put me in the dryer.
Yeah. Here's the thing I love about my kids. They come and do their laundry now, which is great. At a certain point, you're like, all right, you can do your own damn laundry. And, but they come in, they're like, oh, there's clothes in the dryer. I gotta dry my clothes. They just pull them out and they throw them in a pile somewhere. I'm like, no, you hang those up. Well, they're not mine. Really? Really? So let me just ball yours up into a ball next time I find him in the dryer. Throw him out.
Yeah, right now. You'll need a little therapy after
Get
this.
out of here.
1830, Edwin Budding. Eddie Budd to his friends. Edwin Budding of England patented the lawnmower. How did they cut their lawn before?
Sheep.
Bring out the goats. That's right.
Out the goats. That's a different disturbing story.
And you brought it up. That's even more
You
disturbing
mentioned goats,
that
not
I'm
me.
inside a little booth with you. Thomas Edison, 1926 on this day, spoke on the radio for the first time. Said, coming up this hour.
Hey, kids, all right. Coming up on the Thomas Edison Radio.
Let me tell
Hitting
you,
to the
Daddy
top
Tom.
of the charts with a bullet as Mary had a little lamb.
Mary, you know what she had. Mary didn't have a goat. She had a little lamb.
Leave Mary alone.
Where did that go? Where did that lamb go?
Oh, where did the lamb go?
Yes.
It went to the table. It was good with mint jelly.
It went everywhere Mary went. Actress Norma Talmadge, in 1927, 1 year after Tommy Edison was on the air,
Okay.
became the first celebrity to preserve her prints and signature in cement at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood.
Okay.
She began it all.
I wonder where those are now. I mean,
Norma Talmadge, NT.
no one knows who Norma Talmadge
I don't
is.
know what Norma
Other than
did.
that she was the first
She was
one.
the first one. I'm an actress. I'll put my hands in cement.
You know,
and sign it.
here's the thing. Was there a ceremony
she-
or did they just put a new piece of cement, like they just laid out something?
She
She just
tripped
walked
and
by and was
fell.
like, I'm the first. How did that get there? Oh,
don't know how that happened.
I'm Norma Talmadge.
Yes.
You know, according to our researchers,
Yes.
Norma Talmadge was an American actress and film producer in the silent era. Major box office draw.
She was very quiet on the film.
Uh,
Religious officials in 1987 declared that Michael Jackson was no longer a member of Jehovah's Witnesses. He would not be coming to your house and knocking on the door.
You won't do any door knocking. You're
no.
out.
An American photographer in 1990 filed a complaint against Wham. What for, you say?
What for, I say?
He claimed that they had roughed him up when he tried to take a picture. Roughed up by Wham.
Yeah. You know, that's
Doesn't it just sound wrong?
you know,
George Michael, boom, boom, boom.
pretty fit guy. I mean, but it's
And you just don't-
if you
it's
say
the
I was
image
roughed up by Andrew
Wham.
Michael and Andrew Ridgely,
Right.
that's different than saying I was roughed up by Wham.
Well, that's what I mean.
That does sound.
Did the headline have that kapow
yeah.
like
roughed up by
Batman?
Wham? Yeah, you know, whammo. That's what they gotta get. You
Whammo.
gotta get whammo in
Well,
the
that's what I
headline.
mean. It just sounds like, okay, what kind of sissy are you that you were beat up by Wham? You know, if it was Anthrax or something. You know, the band.
There you go,
Anthrax.
indulging in stereotypes.
White zombie.
You
beat the
see,
crap out of
indulging in stereotypes. Maybe the guys from Anthrax or from White Zombie, maybe they're just wonderful, beautiful guys, non-violent.
Nice guys. They're
You
sitting
know?
there with their cats. Going,
Meanwhile,
Let's
George
play some
Michael's
heavy
out
metal.
on the street going, "Come on, punk, let's go."
Andrew Ridgely was the kicker. He was the one that would kick you.
George would
Enough
pull
of
it,
that.
push it down, Andrew, kick it.
Stop taking my
You think
picture.
Wham is gonna?
Wham's not putting up with your crap. We're Wham.
You think we're bad? Wait till Frankie comes to Hollywood and gets a hold of you.
Well, Frankie was going, relax. Don't do it.
Oh God.
All right. That was,
Dear Lord.
relax.
That's stop. Just stop.
1998, the U.S. federal government filed a sweeping antitrust case against Microsoft, saying the computer software company had a chokehold on competitors, which denied customer choices by controlling 90% of the software market. They did not.
What is up with that?
By the way, my iCloud's getting full. That's what I've been
You got to
told.
pay 99 cents more a month. You get more. They're going to give you more cloud.
And finally, in 2011, John Lennon's handwritten lyrics for the 1967 Beatles song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds sold at auction for $237,132 in the U.S.
Okay.
So some think that originally believed that Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was about LSD.
No, it was about Julian's friend Lucy,
Yeah, Lucy.
who drew a picture. This
And there was diamonds in the sky.
Yeah, it was a
And
Lucy,
that's
and she
all.
was in
It
the sky
was
with
true.
diamonds.
That's what it was all
Because
about.
LSD's right in there doesn't mean anything.
Picture yourself on a boat on a river.
Yeah. Or a train in a station. Plasticine porters with looking glass eyes.
You know those porters.
Yeah.
You got to watch out for those porters.
They're the worst. Hey, the Howell Education Association heard us earlier talking to Kaitlynn, of course, with
Northwest Elementary.
Thank you, Northwest Elementary. And the resource room that she does there, one of the great teachers in the Howell School District. And the Howell Education Association has been highlighting those teachers. They're building futures together. In National Teacher Appreciation Month, they are highlighting and celebrating excellence in local teaching. Teachers being spotlighted this month have been nominated by their HEA colleagues as examples of teaching excellence. The Howell Education Association serves its membership through collaboration and advocacy at the district, county, and state levels with the goal of supporting teachers in their professional efforts in local schools and classrooms. The Howell Education Association, local teachers working together for student success, and we want to thank them for their support here on Mike and John Got It Going On.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And hey, we want to point out, remember our friend Lucas?
Yeah.
Lucas Vetter, who is looking to get Lucases into fire departments.
The Lucas chest compression
Yes.
devices.
And they're having a golf outing June 13th, Heartland Glen. Fun-filled day while supporting local firefighters. We want to get these things into the hands of fire departments here in Livingston County and around. Lucas has done so much great work.
Well, he made sure that every fire department in Livingston County has a Lucas chest compression device, at least one.
It's a hands-free, if you've never
Yeah.
seen it, it's really cool, hands-free CPR device. So
And they save
you
lives.
don't have to do this.
I mean, well,
The machine does
because
it for
on
you.
a scene, especially if you first arrive, it allows that process to be taken over so that the first responders can detail other put their attention to other issues. It is a lifesaver. Lucas, just an amazing kid who we've talked to through
Numerous
the years.
times.
I mean, he was 9 years old when this started, and it all started with a tour of the Howell Fire Department, and he saw one of these in action and realized that they could use more. And so, 9 years old, what were you thinking at 9 years old?
Who's playing first base for the Tigers is what I was thinking
Right.
in third and fourth grade.
It was Vern Rule. And
It was Norm Cash
I'm
was
sorry.
playing first
Yeah,
base.
is that
Vern
right?
Rule was a pitcher.
I know, you're right.
Come on, man. You're wearing a Tiger shirt.
Actually, Jason Thompson was
JT.
Well, he was first baseman, right? Yeah,
He played first
Yeah,
base.
yeah. That was my era.
Yeah, I'm a little older
Yeah,
than you. So.
yeah.
Rub it
Anyway,
in.
yeah. Stop talking about the Tigers, God. Anyway, so
on a roll.
Lucas at 9 years old, he does all this, and now he's expanding his reach to Genesee County and in Oakland County as well. So this golf outing coming up on June 13th at Heartland Glen, going to be a great day, a lot of fun. Of course, golf outing, lots of prizes, things you can do. Raising money to continue this
to get
effort.
Lucas's
Yeah.
into more fire
Right.
departments. So if you want to be a part of it, want to golf, $125. If you're a first responder, you get a discount, $100. For more details, you can go to the Mike and John Got It Going On podcast page.
Right. You just go there. We'll
Mike
have
and John
details
podcast.com.
for you as well. And you can also just Facebook. You'll find information on Facebook as well. Just facebook.com/Lucas for Lucas. And you'll find all the registration information you need there. And again, that's June 13th at the Heartland Glen Golf Course, supporting local firefighters. Like, for instance, former firefighter Mike Witt, who owns Firehouse Doors.
He's the Johnny Gage of Livingston County. Well, he was a paramedic, but Mike,
right.
still, Firehouse Doors.
Yeah, of course. Firehouse Doors in Livingston County, serving residents for the past 24 years. By the way, I believe Mike has the emergency sound effect on his phone.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I gotta get that.
Of course, family-owned, striving to treat each customer like family, Firehouse Doors does, and veteran-owned. Mike, a proud U.S. Air Force veteran and a career firefighter. He's also making sure that Firehouse Doors is your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and rolling steel overhead door needs. And for the past 21 years, they've been your authorized distributor for CHI overhead doors in Livingston County, the only one. Firehouse Doors, call them, 810-599-7480, and
They got a special going on right now.
Yeah, they do.
We have the cutout version of that special.
yes, we do.
We need new
This
scissors.
this pre-printer.
Were you
That was
drunk?
pre-printer.
Were you drunk when you cut this out?
The scissors were dull.
It looks like...
True story. I went to go cut it with these scissors.
Did you cut left-handed?
Now you got to show them.
You cut left-handed,
So
didn't
you can see this. I added this in here, and
It's a real cut and paste.
this is
and
before
cut
we
and
had our
paste.
printer, and I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll just add it to the bottom of the copy, and it's
a little chopped
It's a
up.
little jagged.
It is.
I started to
That's
cut
all right.
these scissors.
Did you
I don't
go
know what my
left-handed?
kids do with our scissors, but they're all dull as just. It's like two butter knives that have been put together.
You get a great deal.
Yeah.
Save $275
Oh, yeah, the
when you
deal.
buy a garage door and opener package from
Right.
Firehouse Doors. Belt drive battery backup cover opener, and no extra cost at that.
Right.
So
And that includes the built-in MyQ camera system.
MyQ.
That's a $275 savings, and the offer is good through June 15th. Just tell them Mike and John sent you.
Take advantage of that. Coming up tomorrow, Rich Perlberg with The Less You Know.
Actually, no. I had
Okay.
I had a note for you.
You didn't cut it out or paste it or anything?
He's on the road.
He's on the road.
He's on the
He's
road.
on the run.
Yeah.
Well, it's more of a jog, a trot. All right, I guess we're not having that tomorrow.
So Rich has got the trots? Is that what you're saying?
No, I am. The less I know.
That's the less.
I mean, communication.
It's the benchmark
Yes,
of
it
the show.
is. Well, that's
Excellent.
all right. We won't have Rich Perlberg on the
No.
show tomorrow. But
Tomorrow
if you'd
it's-
like to take Rich's place,
Huh. Who do you think
a
would...
replacement Rich,
if you think you know less,
let us know
the
by
bar is
email.
pretty low.
It is. You
Okay,
can
the bar is
email
pretty
us.
low there.
Mike and John for the win at gmail.com. Email us with what you know less of.
Yes.
And
Let us.
you can
You're
be the
gonna have.
replacement Rich.
You're gonna have to demonstrate to us how less you know.
Yes.
All right. So
all right.
again,
All right.
bar-
That's fine. He gets a day off.
yeah,
Good for him.
pretty low.
Maybe he's hanging out at the pool.
Pretty low. He might be. He's on like a vacation.
He's on a little vacation. Well, he could have came over and swam in your pool or my pool.
That's true.
Because pool season is here.
Yeah. Even if the weather isn't quite cooperating the next few
It's
days.
going to be 90 on Thursday or Friday.
Stupid weather.
So you can hop in the pool.
Yeah.
You need chemicals. You need advice. You need opening or closing. Romans Pools. Fast and friendly service. Pool expertise and quality maintenance. Romans Pool Supplies and Services has everything you need.
Yeah.
Keep your pool safe and clean this summer. Mine's like, my wife said, this is the cleanest I've seen the pool in a long time. And I said, well, I cleaned out all the worms.
That's good.
I'm
Well,
a
you know,
worm
you open your
removal.
pool, you know the worm.
The worm
issues.
factor. I should.
Yeah.
I wish I had a couple of cottage cheese containers with some soil that I could put the worms in and resell.
Well, they're dead.
It doesn't
And
matter.
They're
The fish
soaked
don't
in
know.
bleach, so, or not bleach, but in chlorine. So
They're
Yeah.
chemically enhanced worms.
no, I've learned through the years, by the way, that because originally the first year that I had to deal with the worms, I'll just put these over in the garden. It'll be good, you know.
Good food for
It'll
the plant.
be good, yeah, fertilizer. And you're like, no, they just stink. They're nasty.
Stinky worms.
Yeah, so now
Worms, it's that worm smell.
Yeah, you got
Dead worms.
Well, they're pickled in chlorine, so it's the birds don't want them.
No.
Nothing wants them. They're just nasty dead worms. How did we get on this topic?
Because
I'm sure Roman is watching this, going, "Business, my pool, thank you, hello."
Yeah. Well, this is how you kill the worms.
Well,
you put the chemicals in that
Yeah.
Romans recommends to make sure your pool
it's
is clean.
part of the pool process, and you know what? And I guess that's a good point to make, though. It's one of those things, especially if you're a new pool owner, you don't really know to expect. But then you start talking to other pool owners, like, oh yeah, everybody has that story. But of course, Romans is the place to go and get that kind of information, find out details, how to properly open your pool, take care of it over the summer.
Maintenance, too.
Exactly.
RomansPools.com.
They really are the place to go. And they've got locations in Howell and Brighton. The Howell number 545-4555, or call them in Brighton 810-588-4460. Romans Pool Supply and Services, your pool's best defense.
Romans, kind of an original here in Livingston.
Oh, God, yeah.
They've
I
been
mean,
around a long time.
Yeah,
know
no,
their
they're
stuff,
the
so.
recognized leader in pool service and supplies and maintenance. So tomorrow, no Rich. I forgot to tell you that.
That's right.
Sorry about
He's getting older. The memory's starting to go.
that.
Maybe some ginkgo biloba.
You know what it is? It's the mustache.
You shave the mustache,
And
you lose a little bit.
somehow, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. As my wife keeps pointing out, though, and she keeps saying, she's like, yes, with your mustache gone, we can see how thin your upper lip is. I'm like, oh, yes, please. Let's mention that a few more times. So let me ask you, do I have a thin upper lip? Which the hair used to cover.
It looks
before.
average to me.
That's
but
what I thought, too. I'm like,
not a lip.
I think it's...
a judge of the lips.
You're not a
Kinda
lip judge?
I'm a
Here,
lip judge.
Mike.
No.
Here,
No, wait a minute. Has the mustache-free experience been different for kissing?
Well, let me tell you.
Because according to the ladies of the Mike and
I'm
John
like, you're
podcast,
looking for a research. According to something over here.
the Lib Committee of Livingston
Yes.
County. No, I mean, a lot of the comments, nobody said grow it back. There was a lot
other than my daughter.
other than your
Yeah.
daughter, but the comments after you posted the picture and,
Right.
and those that saw the video, which I only made it through about the first 30 seconds because it stopped on my computer.
Of me getting the
of the
mustache
Facebook
shape?
Live
Yeah.
thing, yeah. But
You need a better computer.
I do.
You should call Dan's PC
I
Solutions.
should.
Anyway.
And I'll drive over my car after I have it looked at at Murphy's Family Auto. I'm going to give them a call today. 552-3040. Maybe
Hey,
take it over on Saturday.
you
since
should.
they're open 8 to 1.
They're
8 to
now
1
open on Saturdays. And if you tell them that, hey, me and John sent me.
I'll just tell them, Mustache Free John sent me. They'll
Yeah.
give me that 5% discount on my bill. You as well, murphysfamilyauto.com. But no, I mean, it's the response has been overwhelmingly positive
has
to
been,
the mustache go.
I like
No
it.
way.
I'm liking it.
I think you're going to stay
I
mustache
think I am.
free
At
for
least
the rest of your life.
You think for the rest of my life?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think so. I don't
For
think
now.
you're going to grow it back because
I don't
there's
know.
a lot of maintenance going on.
Yeah.
Whole lot of maintenance going on.
Well, yeah.
So
Yeah.
good news there.
Well, it's,
except for the mustache brush company. That
well, they're
the
gonna
mustache
suffer.
comb,
My little
you know.
comb.
Did you ever comb the stash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything.
Did it feel good though? You just sit there. What's Dad doing? Oh, he's combing his stash.
It's
Don't bother your father now.
don't bother.
children.
He
He's
can't come out
combing
and
the-
play.
He's brushing the stash.
combing his mustache.
So, did you ever have a little leftover toothpaste in the stash and you give it a little lip lick?
No, but you know, when I
There's one
shave
of-
now, here's the thing. I've done. Okay, so when I put the shaving cream on, I didn't have to go up here before, so it would just
Now
be
you're using more shaving.
Now I'm like,
Good
at
news
first
for
I'm
Edge.
trying to. Oh yeah, the stock is way up. A little stock tip for you.
Sure.
But so at first I was trying to like just put it above here, and I'm like, this is a pain in the ass. So now I just kind of
Just slap it right
and
across
then
the
I
lips.
and then I just
Good thing you got thin lips.
now let me ask you: is that because I'm new to the upper lip shaving? Is that how you put the shaving cream on?
I go from the sides and I go right across and then.
But you cover up your lips and do you? But
No,
then
I
do you?
don't cover the lips. I've never hit the lips.
So you do take the time to kind of just
Oh,
go
yeah.
above and
I'm pretty smooth about it.
See, I'm lazy and I'm in a hurry.
What's that
But then I
aftertaste?
do like a little lip.
They should put
wiper.
flavoring in it.
I'm like, and then I take it out. And
I see. They should put a little flavor in it for you.
maybe tomorrow I'll shave
Sure.
on the show. Then we can
If
talk
you
about
want.
my technique.
Yeah, we'll grade you. Straight edge.
Well, something to look forward to
How about
tomorrow.
that? During the Less You Know segment, we need a replacement for Rich.
Well, as
That's
in,
what you get.
as in, boy, did I wish I knew less about this.
Can we wrap this up yet? I'm getting
I'm
tired.
hoping so. God,
I'm
almighty.
winded. All right, that's it for today.
It's quite a show. We really
You know
covered
what? I don't-
quite a lot of ground
I don't
today.
think- I don't think I'm up for a post show today.
You know what?
I'm
I
gonna
think you're
take.
right.
I'm gonna pull a Pluralberg on this one.
All right.
No post show.
No post show. Not post show, we don't.
Nope. We had it going on.
You've been giggling with Mike and John. Tune in next time and giggle on.
All right, that's it. No post show.
Yep.